to ask the AG to propose legislation for what we call small claims court. There are lots of poor people, to an example you just gave, that they have issues with others and sometimes with large firms, but the lawyer fee is greater than the fee you're claiming.
It is their right.
Yes.
A right, the right that someone has. All of our rights exist in context.
What is the context of a second medical opinion?
Because you disrespected the process.
No.
Jesus, this is common sense, man.
Any situation which you see in the field, you're just dealing with Afro-Guyanese issues. If one, you can't bring and pull the leaders of the African community together, you're failing. And if two, you can't put forward a vision, a blueprint, and a plan for African Guyanese, you're failing as well.
Pleasant Monday evening to you. We are sitting on the steps of the bandstand of one of Guyana's most iconic places, the Promenade Garden. We're right in the middle of the Promenade Garden, and as you can see from the background is the bandstand. In case you don't know, I will ask the operator to pan the camera. The Promenade Garden is bounded by the South Parade Ground, bounded by the north at the Republic Bank head office, bounded by the west by you know what, where President Ali lives, and bounded on the east of Christ Church, one of the oldest church in Guyana. The priest in charge of Christ Church is the Dean of St. George's Cathedral, Pastor Real. So we're in the middle of Promenade Garden. We don't have a guest this evening. We've invited one of our long-standing contributors, Jonathan Yearwood, to rap with us, to talk about politics in general, anything. So there's no guest, it's just a formal chat. As you can see from the camera, my co-host is with us, Leonard Craig. So let's start by asking Jonathan to rap with us.
Hi, good evening, and Freddie, Leonard, welcome. Thank you for having me back here on your program. It's always a pleasure. This scenario that we're actually sitting in is actually a very beautiful scenario. We're sitting on the steps of this beautiful bandstand, and it's lovely breeze coming through. There's a nice cloudy day.
Lots of birds.
Yeah, you're hearing the birds whistling in the background and all of that. It's real nice. Whoever maintains this gardens, they do a real wonderful job of it. I give them my best kudos for that, and I think it's job well done for that. Thank you for now.
Right. Freddie, I'd like to start this thing off with something that's going around. Very comical, albeit. But
again, the boxing match?
No. Not that. In our politics of today, very, very comical. Vice President Jagdeo hasn't held a press conference for about 3 weeks now.
Oh, people saying he's sick?
And people say he is sick. Then
the man turned up.
Then he is appearing all over the place. And the next thing you hear, that he got a double. Right? That he employs somebody out of India who looks just like him to appear on his behalf all over. But yet still, this double is so Jagdeo-ish that he can take pictures with the citizens, and they're holding him and touching him and feeling him, and they can't tell.
But let me cut you there, Jonathan. Some of these lunatics that paste these things on Facebook, should we be discussing that? Should we move on to more serious issue?
No, that is why I'm start by saying comical.
Comical. Here's my view on that. A lot of Guyanese ain't got nothing to do and whole day to do it. And they just
Right,
sit down
right.
and they find all sorts of nonsense to
I
talk
would
about.
love
No,
to discuss
but
that.
I see mainstream political people are
Pick that.
fueling.
Mainstream political people.
Yeah, but guess what? A lot of mainstream political people have nothing to do and whole day to do it.
Right.
So-
No. I just brought it up as a as a light moment
What
to
I
show
will
how people can allow a clearly provable rumor
Uh-huh.
to fester like that, and imagine what those same people are not doing with other more serious things.
All right, so here's my view on this. In that, should the vice president or the president or any senior government official become ill, the people of Guyana deserve to know, because they are an integral part of the decision-making process of government. We deserve to know when someone becomes ill. When Dr. Raja Lunchan became ill, we knew about it. There was nothing to hide about it. So if Mr. Jagdio becomes ill, we're now talking not a flu and a cold and a whatever. We're talking seriously
Because
ill.
they said bedridden.
We need to know, we Guyanese need to know about it. So that's my view on it. It's
Yeah.
not something that should be hidden. It's not something that should be kept private. They are no longer private citizens of Guyana. They are very public people. And what happens to them affects the entire country of Guyana and all the people in Guyana. That's all I have to say about it.
What else you want to say? We're wrapping.
All right, I want to talk about this fiasco that's going on in Parliament right now. We've had elections, 3 months ago?
1st of September.
1st of September. So it's 3 months and 7 days. So we're looking at maybe 14 weeks ago. We've had Parliament once, where members of Parliament were sworn in. And since then, we haven't had another Parliament. And I think it's very distasteful, because in my view, the Speaker should be here in Guyana doing his job, which is managing Parliament. He has Office of the Clerk that handles the day-to-day, but he calls Parliament, and we really do need to have members of Parliament there doing their job. First and foremost, we need to have an opposition leader elected. I am absolutely no supporter of Mr. Mohammed, none whatsoever. But I do believe that he's been elected by a certain percentage of Guyanese. He deserves that credibility. And if he, as the leading opposition leader, says he wants to become the leader of the opposition, so be it. There's nothing the government can do about it, except make themselves stupid and delay, which is what is happening right now. But government, the opposition is part of government. Government has to make decisions, and they need consultation with a leader of the opposition to make certain decisions. So we need to have a leader of the opposition. Whether the Speaker likes it or he doesn't like it, whether the President likes it or he doesn't like it, it's a constitutional office. So let's get it over and done with. Let's move on. The Attorney General says a fugitive. When was Mr. Mohammed arrested and charged? When did he escape from prison? When did he escape from lawful custody? What makes him a fugitive? Yes, he's been arrested, he's been charged, but so has been our president. So has been other people in politics have been arrested and charged. That does not stop them from fully fulfilling their political mandates. So we need to have this done. We need to have this done. So let's get Parliament together. Suppose Mr. Mohammed says, I'm not going to go as leader of the opposition. I'm going to nominate Mr. Aubrey Norton again. And he has the votes to do it. He has the votes to do it, because the votes for opposition leader does not include the government votes. It's only the opposition votes. So he can decide whoever he wants to be the leader of the opposition. It does not necessarily have to be Mr. Mohammed himself. So,
all right. I got a little pushback on some of what you said. One, I think you're misquoting the AG from my understanding. He is saying yes, this gentleman have a right to occupy the seat of government, of opposition leader. But when you talk about a delay happening, there should be an equal discussion on the fact that he is a fugitive, and I think...
Stop. Fugitive?
Yes.
Fugitive from where? Where did he escape
Fugitive from justice.
From which justice?
You don't have to escape
yes,
to be
you
a
do.
fugitive.
Fugitive,
Anybody who does not turn up to answer charges against a fugitive.
Has he not turned up in Guyana? Has he? Which court date has he lost? Has he missed in Guyana? Which court date has he missed in Guyana?
No, I mean, he is aware.
Every time he is being called to court,
but you sure
he has been to court.
He is aware that he is indicted in another country. He could catch a plane tomorrow and go and answer those charges.
But you're sure the AG as a lawyer isn't using the word in the legal term? Maybe there's a legal meaning of what fugitive mean, and we're using it in the loose sense.
In the loose sense.
Could that be?
But I doubt it.
Basically, that's what it is. In the simplest form, if you do not turn up to answer charges in a jurisdiction where you are charged, you're considered to be a fugitive, because if you turn up right now, you're going to be arrested. And Mohammed Ashuddin is aware that there are charges against him in another jurisdiction, and he could catch a plane tomorrow morning and go and answer those charges.
That sounds to me like absolute nonsense, Leonard. Because I'll tell you why.
I hear you.
I'll tell you why. You expect somebody to leave Guyana to go and answer a charge in the United States of America. I don't even know if he's a citizen of America. I don't even know if Mr. Mohammed, that's how little I know of him. I don't even know if he's a U.S. citizen. So why should he leave?
No, he couldn't be a U.S. citizen and be elected.
So if the FBI says Jonathan Yearwood is wanted in New York, I must leave Guyana to go to answer a charge that I believe is trumped up in the United States of America? No way. Come on, no way. No way.
No, I hear you.
Good.
And I don't doubt that. All I am saying is a pushback on what you have said with respect to the fact that the gentleman is not a fugitive. And I'm saying if that becomes so, whether the charges are trumped up and all of that could easily be proven in a court of law. But it does not change the fact that a person becomes a fugitive.
All right,
Jonathan,
let's go to Google.
Jonathan,
hold on.
No,
Let's go to Google.
But there's not
Give me a minute.
definition of fugitive.
Yes, it is.
Give me another minute. Give me another minute.
Go ahead.
Do you remember that our current Minister of Finance was living,
Jonathan,
according to the news information, he was living in Dubai at the time, right? And he was charged in Guyana for something to do, was it with product?
I understand he was charged and he came back to Guyana.
Right, but he was charged and he was not in Guyana at the time.
Yeah.
But during that period when he was not here, he was considered a fugitive.
No, he wasn't. He was never considered a fugitive.
I want
because let me explain to you what a fugitive means, and this is dictionary, buddy.
No, but the lawyers may have another.
No, I don't care what the lawyers say. A fugitive, a person who has escaped from captivity or is in hiding.
well, there you go.
Nobody's in hiding, Mr.
There you go. The definition answers for itself.
No, it doesn't, Mr.
The definition answers.
Hold on. If you consider Mr. Mohammed as being in hiding, well then I can't see a man more publicly visible. The only person in Guyana more publicly visible than him is probably President Ali.
No, but he's not charged in Guyana.
That's what I'm saying. So he's not a fugitive.
We ain't get nowhere with this. I want to interject something.
Hold on. But Mr. Singh, Ashni Singh, was charged in Guyana. He's Guyanese. He was charged for a crime committed in Guyana, a so-called crime. A so-called crime committed in Guyana. But he wasn't considered a fugitive. He was charged, but he was out of the jurisdiction. He was never considered a fugitive. And he did the honorable thing, which was to come back to Guyana. He's Guyanese, he was charged in his local jurisdiction, which is
It doesn't
Guyana.
matter which jurisdiction
It
you're
matters.
charged. That
It
is why
matters.
there's extradition.
Well,
sir.
let the extradition work
Anyway,
its process. Let the extradition work its process.
Yeah,
There's,
but,
there's a nice song I liked when I was young called Going in Circles. It's a theme song from X, Y, and Z with Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Boynton.
X, Y, and Z going on in circles, huh?
That's a theme song. Theme song by a soft rock group I liked when I was going there. Three Dog Night. We going on in circles. Here's what I want to ask both of you.
Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Boynton went around in circles. They got married, what, 3 times? They went around in circles.
Anyway, here this injection.
Uh-huh.
I think there's a fear on the part of sections of Guyana, including the government, that this guy is sworn in as the opposition leader. And it hits the global newsstands that the opposition leader in Guyana has been extradited to face serious criminal charges. That has to impact negatively on a country that is now taking its place in global news. For long we've been in the doldrums and never had good news about Guyana. Jonestown, Burnhamism, rigged election, Buxton, from 2002 to 2005, people being killed en masse. And now you have this new petro state that is being looked at, that is written up all the famous newspapers and all over the world. And then you have this man being extradited. Can this man see the wisdom of not hurting his country by as early as possible appointing someone, selecting someone to be the opposition leader, and the matter, story done?
Yeah, but he can only do that if Parliament is called. He can't appoint a leader of the opposition, anybody else as leader of the opposition, until Parliament is called. He cannot do that. Even if he says, I hereby appoint Jonathan Yearwood as leader of the opposition, he can't do that unless the Speaker calls Parliament and the official meeting is done, and it is done in an official way. It might be the best way out of the dilemma that we're in that he can then be extradited, not as leader of the opposition, but as a parliamentarian, as an ordinary parliamentarian. And that might be the best way to go. But it can only be done if Parliament is called.
But he need to signal that is his intention. What else is on your mind? We're filming this on Monday, and earlier there's a protest outside.
I'll tell you what else is on my mind.
There was about 20-25 people there calling for Guyana government to pay out $150,000 Christmas gift for.
The cash grant protest.
The so-called promise during election time. I mean, I got other things to worry about other than that. And I'll tell you one that worries me big time.
What's that?
Many years ago, this beautiful place we were sitting in, surrounded by Carmichael Street, Waterloo Street.
A woman was killed?
No. Had lovely canals.
This garden here?
No, on both sides.
Yeah,
Waterloo Street, Carmichael Street, Main Street, Camp Street, East Street, Thomas Street. Those lovely canals that stored huge amounts of water when it rained have been filled in. They have been covered, and water now has nowhere to go. So I have a suggestion to our government, and I have put it on Facebook. Let us dig up all these pedestrian walks that we have in between the two streets. Put down solid concrete drain, massive solid concrete drains underneath there. And then we cover them. So you can still have your pedestrian walk on top with water inlets to run into the drain, which will then drain to Lamaha Street and to Church Street. Put those into concrete as well and lead them straight to the Demerara River so the water could go and we don't lose our pedestrian walks, but we have place to have the rain water run off the streets into these big drains on the ground there and out to the main canals to drain out. To me, that is logical because we can dig these back up. We can put on concrete. We don't even have to put on concrete drains. They are the polyurethane, big, massive, cylindrical tubes. These massive tubings now, the black tubings that they have.
Yeah, how long do they hold up though?
Older than me, you more than 50 years. More than
They
50
hold
years.
up that
That's
long?
yeah, they're there. So you can put them down and let the water run off. So it's easy to design, it's easy to do, and it's something for the government to think about. It will cause some disruption. You do one street at a time, but it will cause some disruption within the confines of Cummingsburg. So, but we need to look at the serious drainage issue, how to solve our problems in drainage in Georgetown. Putting pumps down in the middle of a drain to pump water out of the same drain you got the pump in don't make no sense. Why don't you just cut? Why don't you just cut a little cutout, so the water can run into the cutout. Put the pump there, and when the coke is open, all the water runs out. But what they've done is put the pump in the middle of the drain, so when the coke is open, the pump is blocking half the water.
Before we go back to what's on your mind and Fred's mind, because the population is so young in this country, I wonder if they know, just to our immediate left in this garden in 1958, a British white woman from London was in the garden, and a guy came up with a knife and stabbed her to death. And the rumor was spread that the guy thought it was Mrs. Janet Jagan. I don't know if the young population of Guyana knew that, but just a little part, just around where we're sitting, the guy came up to her and stabbed her, and she died.
It's nice to know I'm part of the young population, because I didn't know that.
Right.
I'm part of the young population.
Here was another thing I wonder if you guys know, and then there is a part of the seawall that nobody knows it has a name. When you go into when you leave Ivlery and you're going east, and there's a little indentation. There's a little indentation there. It's like a little bend.
A little cove, yeah.
It's called a Benson's Bend. An engineer was stabbed to death there by a man who Benson was having an affair with his wife, and he was stabbed several times there. So I don't know if our young population knows that part is called Benson's Bend, and they know that a white woman right by where we are here was stabbed to death in 1958. But what's on your mind again?
You wearing black today, is it because you have morbid thoughts? Death and more death?
No, black. Black is associated with the beauty of a color.
I'm wearing black.
Are you wearing black?
The opposition.
He finding something to remain relevant.
Right. In other words, it demonstrates a loss of creativity, so that I think they understand that the government may have intention giving out cash grant, and because you got to go to Parliament to pass the money to hand it out, and Parliament has not been called, probably because the speaker's out of the country. They use this interregnum kind of to say, here, look, if we protest and then the cash grant come later, we can take credit for putting pressure on the government for handing out the cash grant. So
that's politics.
It's politics. It's an attempt to be creative, but I think it's a very, very poor attempt.
That's how you see it. But to them, that's politics. And every little political point gained by doing little things like that, that's absolutely fine. That's politics. The smart people will understand what it is. The not so smart people will relax and enjoy it, and hopefully they get the $150,000 or the $200,000, whatever the amount the cash grant is. Hopefully, whenever the speaker decides he wants to return to Guyana to call Parliament, that's just what I'm saying. Nothing gets done. Government business doesn't really get done without Parliament. So we need to have the speaker back in Guyana doing his job. Let him come home and do his job. That's all. That's what we need. That's what we need. All of these watchdog bodies that are parliamentary, constitutionally due, have to have opposition members in it, and their job is to scrutinize what the government is doing.
You're
Why
talking
is-
about the parliamentary committee.
Yes, the parliamentary committees. I am saying what is happening within our government that they don't want to be scrutinized, that they don't want to call parliament, that they don't want to. Don't we have a deputy speaker? When a speaker was elected, wasn't the deputy speaker elected? Why doesn't the deputy speaker take over and call parliament so we can get business done? What is the government to be? Why are they scared of being scrutinized? Nobody in Ghana ever gets penalized for misconduct. We had REOs, we had people misspending money, paying out advances to contractors, almost to the value of the whole contract, and they've never been penalized. Not a single one of them have been taken to court or sent to jail or anything. So what do we have to be scared of if the opposition scrutinizes what our government does? There's nothing to be scared of. Not only that, the government has 34 seats in parliament. They can pass any law.
34?
36.
No, it's 34 and 29.
You sure it's
36
34?
they have.
Can't be 34, man.
The government has.
Well,
the ruling
36,
party
sorry.
has 36.
36. Be even better yet.
Alzheimer's?
So they have 7. This is how much my lack of political interest is at the moment. But they now have 7 seats lead. They have a 7-seat majority.
6 seat lead. Yeah, 7 seats.
7-seat majority. So 6 of them could go on vacation and still vote and get whatever laws they want passed. Why are they scared of having parliament? Let's get parliament up and running. It is constitutionally due.
I think I just offering a suggestion, I don't know, but I believe that there might be an interest in passing the budget, 2026 budget, this year, and my belief is that they're probably not ready with it.
But that has to pass through parliament.
That's what I'm saying, they're probably not ready with it, and they want to call parliament when.
But what stops
the
you from
measures
having
are-
parliament 3 times a month? There's
No,
nothing in the
if
laws
you-
that
if-
says you can't have
Since
parliament
you're
3
going
times a
there,
month.
if you ask me, my wish would be that we have an executive that is separate from the legislature. That would be my wish to see in a new
But we do have
constitutional
that.
arrangement.
We do have that.
Not necessarily. It's the same people who are ministers are the same people who have to go to parliament. So when you're parliamenting, you can't be ministering, and when you're ministering, you can't be parliamenting. And it because your functions are crossover, parliament can't meet as often. It will affect executive functions. And my thing is this, if you ask me, and if I were to design a constitution, I would say no more than 20% of your ministers should be in parliament. Probably the prime minister, and your core ministers like the attorney general and probably minister of finance probably should be in parliament. All the others there should be a separation between executive and your parliamentarian and not a minister type of thing. That's what I would like to see.
Well, there's one vacuum in that thinking, in that elections is essentially about putting people so that there could be a permanent connection between voters and the elected one. In the United States, you have cabinet ministers that probably never saw Capitol Hill. They don't, unless they've been summoned or something. But when you have elected leaders sitting in parliament, you put them under pressure. When parliament meets, you say, look, A, B, C, D. And they should give account to their fellow parliamentarian across the bench. With your case, those executives may never ever see parliament. Now, I have a problem with that. I think when you vote for a person, you vote to make them answerable to you. And one of the ways of making them answerable to you is for them to be in parliament to face an opposition.
All right, if I may now say my say on this. Many years ago, I've advocated that we let's do away with the Westminster system. Let's follow an American system where we have 2 elections. We have a presidential race in which Tom Jones runs against Peggy, Laura, and they compete for president. Whoever gets the maximum most votes becomes president. That person now selects his cabinet, and we fix the number of ministries to 15 or 17, not what has presently been happening over the last 20 years, where we add on cabinets, we add on positions to satisfy whoever. Maximum 15 or 17 cabinet ministers, and then we have the parliamentarians, where we go back to constituencies, where we vote for people within our constituent to represent us in parliament. They are answerable to us, the people of that constituent, and we can remove them at any election that we want to remove them for not doing the job. But it's not going to happen in Guyana, because no party wants to remove that power of controlling the parliamentarians from the party system, which is why they implemented the recall bill.
Right.
They don't want to remove, to lose any of that power.
No, but I don't mind the
before you go, let me go again. So here again, I am going to say that the 15 or 17 members that the president and the vice president selects to be their cabinet members have to be accountable to Parliament. So they must come and report to Parliament what their jobs are. What have you done with the Ministry of Health in the last month? Report to Parliament. Report to the Ministry of Home Affairs. What have you and the police force done for Guyana within the last month? Report to Parliament. So there's checks and balances going on at that level. But as I said, no political party in Guyana will want to give up that kind of power where they can control the parliamentarians.
I don't blame them. I am speaking as a politician, and I believe most people who are in politics might favor the point that I don't have a problem with the proportional representation system. It could still be a list system, or it could be a hybrid system. But you get your parliamentarians
based on the total amount of votes cast in the country.
But those parliamentarians, a certain percentage of them, more than a certain percentage of them, cannot be ministers, right? And more than a certain percent of ministers cannot be parliamentarians, or what you call full-time parliamentarians. They come to parliament when needed, probably to pilot something, to answer something, to give information and stuff like that. But they are not required, as the Constitution requires them. Once you appoint somebody as a minister, they are required to be in Parliament. I think that kind of little separation should happen. And Freddie, to answer your thing, I think you don't necessarily have to personally face the electorate to be answerable to the electorate. When you elect, whether by proportional representation or by first past the post, when you elect your representative, you put pressure on them to ask questions in Parliament of whoever the executive is.
But you haven't answered why you want the separation. You haven't dealt.
Yeah, because
you haven't dealt polemically with why you want some set of ministers not to be in Parliament. I'm thinking that you're looking at, you're burdening them down.
Exactly.
But why they can't be energetic enough to do their work and yet be Parliamentarians?
Especially when they got two ministers in one office.
No, but here what's happening, Freddie. We got parliamentarians, right? This is what happened in our parliament currently. So you have 2 or 3 parliamentarians from your party who are leading parliamentarians, who are movers and shakers. And they literally make decisions for all the other parliamentarians. You just come to Parliament and sit down. You don't speak whole year. You don't say anything unless you're compelled during budget time to speak. And things like that.
There is no alternative to that.
The other thing is,
since in the early ancient Greek times,
you always had backbenchers.
You have all that people who go in the forum and don't speak.
But guess what? So it comes back to what I'm saying. I would like to see, you want PR, you get PR with the presidential race.
Yeah. I
Get
have no
PR
problem
with
with
your
that.
presidential
I
race.
have no problem with that.
So the president is directly answerable to the people that vote for you.
No,
Guess-
I have no problem
Guess
with the
who our
presidential
president
race.
is directly answerable to now? The political party he belongs to. Because it's the political party that nominates him as presidential
No,
candidate. Yes, it does.
It will still be the same. It will
Shh,
still
hold
be
on,
the
hold
same.
on,
Even
hold on,
if
hold on,
you
hold
run
on.
a
No.
presidential
Hold on.
In the
election.
US,
Hold
there's
on.
you got to win a party primary.
You have to win a party
to become
primary to get that.
the
Good.
candidate.
Good.
And
So
the party could strong, you.
yeah,
Yes.
but that don't happen in Guyana too much. They go through this farce of Congress and whatever else. What I'm saying is, you have more responsibility to answering to your
No,
to your people.
no.
Hold
I
on,
don't
let me
accept
finish. Let me finish. So you do that. Now, when you do parliament with a list system, you end up with exactly what you have here now, where you have people sitting at the back of parliament who have never uttered a word except good day and good afternoon, or as you said, at budget time they're compelled to speak. Whereas there is no representation for the people that elected them. They vote according to what the party tells them to
okay,
vote.
So you are saying, what he's saying is these silent people who don't speak, if they were elected on the first past the post, the constituency should say, listen, you running again? No,
exactly.
You sit in parliament for 5 years and we didn't hear a word you said.
Exactly.
But there's also negative side to first past the post. You can
Both
actually,
sides have negative
you can
sides.
actually have a minority government in first past the post.
But hold on. You have an elected president. That's why I'm separating the race. I'm separating the parliamentary race from the presidential race. So you have a president. And if you want to override the law, you must have what? A 2/3 majority. You can decide in parliament what majority you want to override a presidential veto or whatever. But you can separate the two. I'm saying separate the two races.
Jonathan,
One for president, one for parliament.
Jonathan, if you had a tete-a-tete with the president and he asks you, you have an independent mind. I mean, one of the things I admire about you, which is a rare species in Guyana, and I think you should be proud of that. I've seen people who are independent and then they start to go in one direction. And I remember you telling me, and viewers should know this. You told me, man, I got a problem with Christopher Lamb. He's just too anti. And I think you have a more independent approach. If you have a tete-a-tete with the president and you say, Jonathan, how would you like to help in nation building, in shaping the future of the country? What would you identify for him? And I'm sure he's going to listen to what you say.
Yeah, if the president asks me for advice and I offer that advice, I'm certain the president will listen.
No, not offer your advice. Well, how would you like to serve in shaping the future of Guyana?
All right. So,
I'm sure the president knows you have an independent mind. I'm sure he knows that.
in 2020, the president did approach me. And I made it very clear that if the president wants me to work, I am quite willing to work, but I will be answerable to him. I would not be answerable to any of his ministers because they have too many whims and fancies for my liking, and no matter what work I do, they might have the authority to override it and change it to suit themselves, whatever. So if the president, and I will say it point blank, I have no problem working with the government, but I would be answerable to the government, to the president, for the simple reason that I don't think that a lot of the ministries that I would be more suited to work in don't have the type of ministers that are willing to listen to independent advice. They're not willing to have somebody from the outside come in to not work over them, but to work with them. They want people that they can control and that type of thing. I have no issue with the pigeons.
Recognize the pigeons are. If the president is looking at this, well, I'm sure some of his ministers will be looking at it. I would like to recommend you on the One Guyana Commission.
I don't know
You've
what.
always been multiracial in your perspective. You're one of the person who had absolutely no use. I'm talking about now as a non-Indian, non-African. You've never had any use for race. For a long time I have known you. I would recommend.
The only use I have to.
The pigeons are coming towards us.
The only use I
would like
have
to
for
recommend
race.
you for the one Guyana Commission.
The only use I have for race is who win the 100 meters, the 200 and the 400 meters.
Right.
That's the race I deal with.
Craig, what do you think him as the chairman of the One Guyana Commission? What do you think?
Well, I figure I've
Nobody
always
can
said,
call him. He's not Indian. He's not African.
no, I've always said that a government shows character when they can find independent people to work with, and independent people shows character when they can work with a government professionally, even though they may not electorally
agree with them
support that
politically.
government.
Yeah. That's fine.
And once people meet those criteria, I don't see why the government should not seek to work with such people.
So it
strengthens the government.
It comes back to what I was saying. I'm willing to work in certain places.
I think.
No, I think your conditions are a little too stringent.
but
I think you know what I told him. You know what I told President. What I told President Finale, and I wrote this, and I'm sure you must have read it, so it's no problem repeating it. I had a very, very quiet philosophical conversation with him, and I said to him, no president, no prime minister should have a set of people around him that tells him or her what is happening on the ground there that is not happening, because essentially you're deceiving the person.
Yes, you are. You're deceiving the leader of the country.
Right.
Who has to make decisions based on what you're saying?
You can't go and you meet with the president and he asks you what is happening in Xanadu village, and you turn and say, oh, you must visit them, they just love you, and it's not true. When the man goes there, you embarrass him. And I told him about Howard Davis and Burnham. Howard Davis used to stand up to Burnham and say, no, I can't do that, Mr. President. And you know what Howard Davis said to Burnham about the sugar industry that turned out to be true. Burnham began to have a relation with Howard Davis, in which Davis had more access to him than many of the people that go and, I think people like you, Johnny J. with Stanley Ming, Leonard Craig, I've known Craig a long time. I think guys like you say, look, I can contribute to Guyana, and they're going to contribute to Guyana and not run to the president and tell the president whatever the president wants to hear. And that is the hallmark of a good prime minister, of a good president. And I believe Ali, I've had conversation with him. I am telling you, I believe Ali is like that. I believe if you run to Ali and shower praise on him about things that I think Ali is a polite man. Ali's going to say, and that's it. And I would like to see people like you and Craig, and I would like to see you guys working with Ali. I would recommend both of you to One Guyana Commission.
Freddie, you're pushing hard.
I would like to see, the thing is, I keep telling people I'm a dinosaur. I've been around a long time. I taught this young man in school at UG.
You taught me too.
I have seen all the players, I've seen their faults, I've seen their demerits, their negativities. I've been around so long. And
I need a PR campaign manager.
Well,
anyway.
I had the two of us had an hour with Stanley Ming. And when you listen to that man, people don't know how that man have contributed to things that are still standing and a part of Guyana. And you do have people who want to make a contribution, but I understand your position. You don't want some real party aficionado or real party zealot saying, no man, don't do that. No man.
That's just wasting my time.
Because you happen to pull down a party man in the village.
That just wasted my time and effort.
I understand what you know what he said in his column today. You know what he said in his column today, Monday today, that the PPP need to be, as a shaping their legacy, the present shaping legacy, need to deal with bad behaved PPP people. And 3.5 years ago, we put that question to Puyamani Chan. A government becomes better and a government becomes more admirable when it tells its cousins and its siblings, man, what you do there?
Yeah.
You're gonna make the government look bad. I am your cousin, I am your sibling.
I got better than them.
You need to help my government.
No, I got better than them. You do your stubbornness, I fire you. Come out your job. Let somebody else go in.
Let me say this, and I'm speaking from a politician's perspective. A professional, a consummate professional might have a different view. But when you are into politics, and you go out there and you campaign with somebody and you were in the trenches with them and you held hands and you climb up on the pole and you put up flags and you plan and you execute these things together. That kind of camaraderie that you build during that election period and other things that happen in the party, that you rub shoulders. It is one of the most difficult things in life to look at that person and tell them no, or put them aside, or refuse or demote them. Is one of the most difficult things to do, because all you have is a memory of this man standing shoulder to shoulder with me.
But
however, the
country comes first.
Yes, so I am not advocating. So the politician in me is saying,
you got to
even if this man is bad behaved,
you can't discard him. You can't discard him. No.
That is not the. He must know that you still care for him, and that is not the end of life. He must be rehabilitated. In other words, it's not just fire and cast aside.
Hey, Bonham used to fire people.
But if you fire and cast aside,
give Bonham a Jew used to fire people who misbehave.
Yeah, but not cast aside.
Right, not cast.
That's the difference. You fire somebody, but not cast them aside. You rehabilitate them in a way, ensure they're earning and what have you,
but you can't discard
and so on, but not discarding.
Okay.
So whenever I talk about disciplining, I am not referring to discarding.
And I would support.
Exactly. And that is the political view in my mind. Some people are saying, hey, when somebody think discard,
you can't do that.
When that person stands shoulder to shoulder with you,
and in the sky putting up a flag and fall down.
Yeah.
And I said that in our show, we can't discard them. We cannot. And those business people who give money during the campaign, we tend to elevate them more than who stood in the sky, put up a flag and fall down.
Okay, so here's what. So here's my view on all of this. I agree with you that rubbing shoulder to shoulder in the trenches builds a bond and a camaraderie that is extremely difficult to find anywhere else, because you've gone through the traumas and the hard work and everything together. However, when the time comes, there's something called Peter Principle, where you elevate somebody in a job a stage above what they're capable of. They could be very competent at this level, and then you elevate them to a level above where they become totally incompetent. So we must not get involved with Peter Principle. If we know, yes, you work very, very, very hard, and we appreciate it, but we're not making you regional chairman.
Don't put shit
We're not making you regional chairman.
Don't put you as a botanist when you know nothing about
exactly.
Keep you out in the gardens.
And there are
hundreds of jobs. There are hundreds of jobs that this level of people can do and feel very confident. Hey, I get recognized by the political party, and I can do this job. It's not something that I'm incapable of doing. It's something I'm capable of doing. I can give the best of my ability to doing it, and that's it.
I agree. Let me not say I don't agree, but I have a little caveat in that there are some people, you see, to me it's a person by person, based on person.
You got to do case by case. You got to do case.
Because there are some people may not have the formal qualifications to do something, but they love this thing and they're go-getter in that direction. So while this person may have been, based on circumstances of life, may have been a truck driver for many years, people are quietly self-taught, like Stanley Ming told us the other day. Because of his family circumstance, he couldn't go to Germany to take up a scholarship in engineering. But he bought all the books and self-studied at home. But he don't have a certificate that says Bachelor in Engineering. But put him alongside the engineers, and he demonstrated that in his business. What he produced in his business, put him alongside the engineers, he can function at the functional engineers level. And all I'm saying is that whoever administers the country have to have a big enough mindset, a big enough heart to want to sift through all these little things that help make the country better. But I'm not going against what you said, in that a person should not be promoted above the level of his competence.
I think we all three agree that you've got to keep your stalwart, you've got to give those who paid their dues, and you have to balance it by when that person falls down, tell him, look man, don't stay there. We're gonna put you somewhere else.
First and foremost, okay, I can make you a supervisor of this group of people, but don't embarrass me, don't go and get drunk, don't go urinate all over the road and embarrass this political party, because I can cut you down to size.
Right.
And people will understand that. They will okay, I am now a supervisor, I'm not a managerial level, but I might be a supervisor level, and I can function well at that. And then maybe the party could send me for training to become a manager. Because everything is training, Everything is training. So you start young and you grow older, you get better and better at what you do. And you promote them up accordingly. I'm not saying discard them. I'm saying find jobs for them that they are capable of doing, that they're competent enough to do, but don't give them jobs that they're incapable of doing because they are a party member.
It defeats the purpose.
It defeats the purpose of managing your country.
But also doesn't help them.
No, it doesn't help them.
I keep saying, and he spoke on the past 3.5 years, I'm a dinosaur. If you read my memoir, which will not be written, if you know how many kids...
And Freddie is a man that's asking everybody to write memoir.
If you
writing.
Guess why I don't like my memoir? I ain't telling me wife through that 25,000 libel writs when I talk about what I know about people. But if you know how many cases I know about what we're talking about, and I've written about it several times, so I could say it now. I think this case that stands out for me, because we in the same age and went in politics the same time, was Clement Rohi. Clement Rohi is just a genetic PPP person, die hard. But Rohi was just not the ministerial material.
Still isn't.
And he has embarrassed the PPP, has embarrassed Guyana with his style and personality. And Mrs. Jagger knew that. Chetty Jagger knew that. A lot of PPP people knew that. He just turns off people because he ain't got it in his substance to know how to deal with people. His PR is very bad. But all the PPP people felt they ain't got a more PPP person than Clement.
More diehard.
No more than Clement. And that diehard thing has made Rohi stepped on so many people's toes and so embarrassed the PPP. You know, I've seen that thing in WPA. I've seen that thing in the WPA with a certain guy who couldn't see any woman. And that man just, you can't want to overthrow Bonham and run a revolutionary government like the review, and you're chasing after every woman.
But just to come back to the article I have today in the newspaper, what my outlook on that was that I move around a lot, Freddie, around the country. I walk the streets.
That's not true. I don't see at Bamba Mali.
Actually, I pass there every now and then. I don't stop and drink and so on. But I see people and
Well, I went to Bamba Mali several times, and I saw Norton there several times. You never been to Bamba Mali? in Orange Walk?
I know Bam Ali.
Well, you
I
never
know Bam
been
Ali.
there.
It's not my.
No, it's not my style of thing, but I do pass
What
there.
am
and
I hearing?
I see a lot of people. I see a lot of
not
people.
your style.
I didn't say it's not my style. It's just not
No,
my
it's
place
just
to go.
not. It's not
Not
mine
your
either.
place to go.
But it's a
What?
place that I pass. I don't care
What?
what you say, Freddie. It's a place
What?
that I pass. I see people I know. I connect with people and move on.
Yeah.
It's not a place I go to lime. It's
No,
not.
no. This,
It's not my thing.
the two you have to apologize for those.
Why? Why?
But
I don't
one of the points I want to get over though, Freddie, is that people who are empowered by the party has to communicate to them
Yes.
clearly in no uncertain
Certain
terms.
types of behaviors are not acceptable.
Exactly. So I, for example, have had complaints where in a village, this is the known, as you use Rohi as an example, as nobody is more die in the wool than Rohi
But the
PPP.
person
And you
is-
go in this village and this person is known die in the wool. You can't move them. Unmovable PPP
But
member.
it's a misbehaving
But you
person.
don't talk to half the village.
And have
You
the
want-
village alienated from him.
Yes,
And,
and during the election campaign time, people are saying, "What you got a man there do? Let he stay at the back." And these are supporters of the party, and so the PPP has to, and I think that will be PPP's major
Downfall.
Stumbling block.
major thing to overcome for 2030. The opposition is so crazy, which is the point I made. The opposition gone wild and they gone mad. That the PPP I don't even think the PPP got worry about what they say and do for the next 4.5, 5 years. PPP got to work on
Internally.
these internal things. These people, any member who plays big and bad in the village, show people gun and walk around, and they have to be
Brought in line.
right. And once the PPP does that, there is no stopping. There's absolutely no stopping in 2030, 2031.
The question is, does the PPP have the will to want to do that?
I think
I-
I
I'm
don't know
hoping.
the party.
I don't know
think-
the party
I think-
though.
I don't know the party, but I think Ali would.
I'm
I
hoping
think
that
Ali's
Ali-
a
I'm
very,
hoping that
very
Ali does.
Committed, yeah.
I'm hoping that he does.
Yeah. I don't think Ali
And that's the only
I don't think
corner.
Ali would stand nonsense.
And I am speaking, I don't want to say outsider, but I am very much on the outside of PPP leadership, and I have the view of an outsider. As much as I support the PPP, I worked for it in the election, I spoke on the platform, I have the viewpoint of an outsider. And as an outsider looking in, I am saying to the PPP executive and powers that be that is the corner the PPP has to turn.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen too much of it, man. I've seen too much. I'm a dinosaur. If I write my memoir, you're gonna see there's too much of it where you tell you
When
need
you
to
write
tell-
when you write your memoirs, let me edit it for you.
you need to tell these people.
No, I can help you do your research. I can help
You
you,
need- no.
interview people and put things in perspective.
I'm telling you.
Free
Because-
service to you know. You
Because
not pay
I'm a
me, you know.
dinosaur, I knew that was one of Burnham's strong points.
Yeah.
I knew that. Let me tell you something.
Certain things Bonham didn't tolerate.
Isu Prasad. Isu Prasad has his autobiography in which he talk about how paramountcy the party affect him running DDL as a big. And he
Okay.
said when he go to Burnham,
Yeah.
Burnham said what he did, I can deal with it. And Isu Prasad said Burnham dealt with him.
Yeah.
That was one of Burnham's. You can't Burnham put you there,
Yeah.
and next thing you know, you have molesting a woman and that kind of thing. No, that was one of his strong points. And I tell you something, height. You could have gone and complained to Height. And Height would act it. And I think Ali.
My
is
view
in
of
that
height.
tradition.
My view of height is I thought he was a gentleman.
Yeah, he was.
I think he was a very much of a gentleman and wouldn't tolerate a lot of that misbehavior. I'm hoping that Ali uses his office these next 5 years in office to curb a lot of what we just discussed here, where some of the party stalwarts, some of the party strong believers are told that, hey, yeah, we appreciate all your hard work and everything, but we don't appreciate your misbehaviors.
Yeah, because that could
brings
cause
us
them
down.
to
Yeah.
lose the next year, right?
That brings us down.
Or become, or if not lose the election out, right? Lose the gains they have acquired this
last election. Yeah.
Operator signal, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Before I give my final words, I'm asking both of you to apologize to our viewers.
Right.
Because you say you Bamba Mali is not your style. You got to go and hang out with Bamba Mali, man.
Marriott is not my style either.
Both are you apologizing, Bamba Mali?
No.
Freddie West is
No.
All right,
Marriott is not my style either. I don't go and drink in Marriott.
But Bamba Mali, you should go.
Why?
We were we did.
Invite me now.
All right, thank you very much. I very much. We thanks for being with us this Monday evening. We didn't have a guest, but Jonathan Yearwood joined us to rap. So we were rapping in the middle of the Promenade Garden, sitting on the steps of the bandstand. Thanks for being with us. We will see you on Wednesday. Have a very pleasant Monday evening. Catch you later. Bye-bye.